9 from the free throw line down the stretch. And so Alabama was able to still win and kind of prove what kind of tough team they are. They were down 17 in the second half on the road to Houston, but came back to win that game in very impressive fashion. I think that's when everybody started thinking this Alabama team might be special. And then one of their two SEC losses was to Tennessee, 68-59 in Thompson-Boling Arena. So they will be facing San Diego State, who won the Mountain West Conference Championship over a really good Utah State team, 62-57 in the championship game, and now have beaten the College of Charleston, who I picked to upset San Diego State, 63-57 in the first round of the tournament, the round of 64. And then in the round of 32, San Diego State takes out Cinderella Furman, 75-52, very impressively. Furman had upset Virginia in the first round, 68-67. So, but the Furman Paladins going home, San Diego State advancing. So, going to be a very interesting matchup with a 5 seed in Louisville, Kentucky on Friday night for the University of Alabama. And we will definitely be tracking that as Alabama is looking to make history, get to the Elite Eight for the second time in their history. Of course, the other one being 2004, when Antoine Petway and the crew got to the Elite Eight but lost to eventual national champion Connecticut. As Connecticut basically steamrolled Alabama, but that was a very, very good Connecticut team. This Alabama team has a chance to make the first Final Four run in school history, but in order to do that, they've got to beat a very good and experienced 29-6 San Diego State team. Alabama now a school record 31-5. Following the 2 wins in the NCAA tournament. This will be their 9th Sweet 16 appearance in school history, and Nate Oates his second in 3 years. So Alabama trying to make their second Elite Eight appearance and potential first Final Four appearance. So this is going to be a huge week for Alabama basketball. As maybe you guys a lot of you have seen, some new information coming out with the Brandon Miller and Jaden Bradley situation from Patch.com, which is, of course, Tuscaloosa Patch, which is Ryan Phillips, who's done a great job reporting on the situation. Looks like there could be some egg on the face of some media people that have been chasing ambulances and acting like jackasses. And, of course, other people on Twitter as well who are cowards, who hide behind fake usernames and accuse people of things, make fun of people for things, take shots when they should probably worry about their own glass house because, half of them are probably scumbags in their own right. But just wanted to have a little editorial moment there. But just very, proud of this Alabama basketball team. Of course, we are the home, our sister station of Alabama basketball on ESPN 97.7 The Zone. It's proud for our state. It was a great run for the Auburn Tigers. It was a great weekend because you had Alabama and Auburn historically at the same regional in different brackets. Alabama, of course, the number 1 seed overall and the number 1 seed in the South. Auburn, the number 9 seed in the Midwest. But Auburn ends up beating Iowa very impressively in in the round of 64. But then falls in round 2 / the round of 32. They played very well for a half, up 41-31 over the Houston Cougars. Those Houston Cougars, of course, Alabama beat earlier in the year, but Houston, a very, very good basketball team. That's the number 2 overall national seed, the number 1 seed in the Midwest. It was a de facto road game on a neutral floor for Houston. They were down 41-31 at the half, but come back to get a very impressive 81-64 win over Auburn, outscoring the Tigers 50-23 in the second half. Just a really good second half for Houston, and being there, it was just, to do it justice, you have to see this Houston team play. Very physical, very fast, tremendous basketball team. But again, Alabama and Auburn both packed the Legacy Arena in Birmingham. And Alabama, there was some worry about, because Alabama hadn't played necessarily all that well in Birmingham the last few years. Well, they put that to rest with back-to-back 20-plus point victories. As we said, 96-75 over Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And then, of course, they do a very impressive job, 73-51 over the Maryland Terrapins. And now we're going to hear from Coach Nate Oates and the University of Alabama as they won this game. We were live at the press conference, and we're going to hear, of course, from the 2 stars. As we said, Javon Quinterly, 22 points and 2 assists for Alabama as he continues to be March JQ. Brandon Miller, 19.7 rebounds. They spoke to the media along with head coach Nate Oates, and we're going to bring you that coverage right now here on this Monday edition of the Blitz Sports Radio. And I'm D Squared. And don't forget, before we bring you the press conference, download our app on the Google Store, the Apple Store, and you can listen to the show Monday through Friday from 9 to 10 a.m. Also, don't forget the Afternoon Blitz. They will be they're continuing their coverage of March Madness and Alabama and wrapping up the season for the Auburn Tigers. And that'll be, of course, Captain Cool John Abraham and the Bandyman Bailey Lowry, who's also my resourceful producer. But right now, the Alabama Crimson Tide, they have won one 2-game tournament. They're trying to win 2 more and make a Final Four run and have a shot at a national championship. But first, their next game will be in Louisville, Kentucky, against the San Diego State Aztecs. And we're going to bring you the post game right now as Alabama defeated the Maryland Terrapins very impressively, 73-51.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Like to thank the city of Birmingham and everybody for putting this on. It's been unbelievable to play in front of our hometown fans, to have a chance to go to Sweet 16. So I thought that was great for our program, great for the state of Alabama, great for the city of Birmingham. So just thank whoever's responsible for bringing the tournament here and putting it on. So it was good. Thought we had a pretty good crowd, pro-Alabama crowd tonight. The start of the game wasn't what we wanted. I think they hit their first 4 field goals. We hung in there. Our defense picked up from there. I think they hit 2 out of their next 20 after that, and we outscored them 24-10, and then we're able to kind of keep the lead and hold them off. Thought the second half we were much better. We were obviously a little concerned. Reese only played 4 minutes in the first half, and they're +6 in those 4 minutes. He played 16 minutes in the second half. But we did a good job. I thought Charles did a good job. Clowney did a good job. So, our defense picked up. Our offense struggled at times tonight, but I thought Quinterly, we needed him to make some shots. I mean, these 2 guys are the only guys that made any threes. We usually shoot a little bit better. We only got 21 off. I thought Maryland did a really good job. You got to give Coach Willard a lot of credit. They did a good job with us. They weren't trying to give them any threes up. We got some of our guys loose in transition, off O boards, kind of loose ball plays. But, we got to the offensive boards. They did too. They had 10, we had 15, but second chance points were 16-4 us. So, give our guys a lot of credit for. I just told them, we may not make shots, but we've constructed a team. We got a style of play that even when we don't make shots, our defense is good enough, and we get to the old boards, we just can't turn it over. Second half, we only had 3 turnovers, getting to the old boards, and eventually we were able to make some shots and break the game opener in the second half. Charles, I think it's his 5th double-double of the year. It was big. If we could get him to make some free throws, it'd be even better. But I thought he was outstanding on the glass and on defense. And it was a great game. We're looking forward to playing San Diego State up in Louisville. So we'll be ready to go Friday.
We'll begin right here, second row, middle.
Brandon, how did you feel out there, and also how did you feel kind of having a bit more success than you did on Thursday?
Well, it felt great. Just being out there. It's just a blessing just being out there. I think growing up as a kid, for all kids, it's a dream for them. And just to be here, it's just a blessing to be here to play and compete with my team.
Javon, this site here, it's a little bit of a rarity where the top two seeds in the tournament are both here in the first round. Just wondering what you made of Houston, what you were able to see, and just, these two teams can kind of get a little up close, personal look at each other, even though they're not playing each other yet.
We played Houston earlier in the year. That's a really good team over there. Kelvin Sampson's a great coach. And, I think we're just focused on San Diego State right now and, preparing for them.
Right here. No, right behind you.
This is for Brandon. What was the key for you to get into a rhythm? I know they looked like they were trying to get you off early since you weren't able to make any shots in the first game, and I know they. And did you get stiff at all? Did they? I know they did a lot of rehab for you in the last couple of days.
I think the biggest thing coming in this game is just preparation. How you things you put in your body, things how you really just come out and just get loose with your team. And I feel like I just came out with a lot of energy, the energy that me and my teammates needed to get a win over a great team.
Javon, you tweeted the other day about Jersey being different. FDU wins, Princeton goes to the Sweet 16. You're out here scoring 22 points. What's going on with Jersey basketball?
Oh, man, that's a good question.
He's got the shirt that says basketball needs Jersey.
Yes, sir. Shout out to NJ
Apparently
Hooper
basketball
crew.
needs Jersey.
St. Peter's made the run last year. I was very excited for them. After we lost in the first round, rooting for them. I went to high school right around the corner from St. Peter's. FDU, I live right around the corner from FDU, so, I was kind of really excited for them. I got a high school teammate who plays for them as well. Jersey is just different in March.
Javon, this is for you and Brandon. Just clicking at the right time last year, coming off the knee injury around this time. How confident is your game? It seems like it's really clicking at the right time. Brandon, how big is it to have him be scoring 20 plus in these games?
Man, just looking at his injury and where he's come from, I think it's crazy. Really proud of him. Look at him as a big brother. I've always looked up to him. Just him having. It's not even just about him scoring 20. I think it's him sitting down on defense and getting stops that we need. So that's just not about scoring the ball in the hoop. It's about the margin plays, who's diving on the floor, who's getting all the rebounds. So it's just a great person to have around.
You're getting me sentimental over here.
We're going to go to Zoom now and take a question from Chris Heidel.
Hey, this is Chris Heidel from Herberton Radio in Baltimore. Congratulations on the win. This question is for Javon from New Jersey. Just talk about, you played against Maryland a couple of years ago. What did it look like today that different from 2 years ago?
They had a coaching change. Kevin Willard, really great coach. Recruited me coming out of high school, so I'm really familiar with him. And they had a different style. I feel like they played a little bit slower than they did 2 years ago, and they really value possessions. And that's a really good team over there. And yeah.
Right here and then behind you.
Brandon, you said you felt good, but from a pain factor scale, where were you heading into this game?
I'm 100%. It's like I said, it's just the preparation. I feel like me and Clark prep for this game, just physical wise. So I think it's the biggest thing was just the preparation coming in this game.
For both of you, how much of a difference maker has Chuck been down low since postseason started, whether it's rebounding or scoring or whatever?
He's been a huge presence for us. I really think he made that jump from last year, and he's been huge for us. I feel like he doesn't get a ton of credit, but his teammates are definitely. We try and let him know that he's a huge part of what we do.
Last question in the back.
Going from here, how do you manage to keep your poise, your leadership ability? How do you manage to stay still focused, so focused? You got the Sweet 16 coming up. What we're going to do there? How's this going to parlay over from being in Birmingham to being in another location?
I think it's just about us being focused. This is a great win tonight. I think we're going to come in tomorrow, probably get our bodies back together and just start from the basics to prepare for San Diego State.
Playing in the Sweet 16 and losing to UCLA 2 years ago, just that feeling, I remember that feeling. So, I'm just going to let the guys know that, we're close, we're very close, but, we still got a ways to go, and, we're definitely going to, prepare as best as we can.
Okay, at this time, the players are dismissed. We'll start up front. Please remember to state your name and affiliation.
Drew DeArmond, WZZN Radio, Huntsville, Alabama. Coach, it's like a broken record, but I wanted to mention a couple of Noah Gurley's key plays. He created a turnover in the second half that was big, and then he got a big offensive rebound put back that kind of iced the game. And then my second part is you just got through playing against a team that's more of a half-court team, slows it up. Do you think that will help you against San Diego State? I know you hadn't had a chance to dive into them yet.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the San Diego State game today. I was busy still watching Maryland film, with the short turnaround. I'm a big fan, but when we got a game to win, I try to lock in on the team we're playing. So I know San Diego State's defense is elite. That's what I've been told by our staff. And Furman's a really good team, and they shut Furman out. So we're going to have to spend a lot of time prepping for them. We'll spend a lot of time tomorrow. The players will be off tomorrow, but the coaches will be in work. And as far as Noah Gurley goes, yeah, I was really fired up on that offensive board put back. I thought he made a great play. He drove the ball in. He kicked it out, got Brandon a great shot. Didn't go. He stayed in there, got a put back. I was really happy for him. And then the Steely Force was out of a timeout. Our two guys in the pick and roll didn't do a great job. I thought Reese was coming free for a dunk or a layup, and Noah kind of put his hand in there, got a deflection, knocked it off Reese's leg, and made a huge play for us. So, he played 10 minutes tonight. We were +3 when he was in. He missed both his. I think his last 4 games he was 6 of 9 from 3 going into that. So. Didn't make any there, but that's fine. He was 0 for 2 against A&M. He was 0 for 2 today. That probably means he's set up for a couple good shooting. He'll get back in the gym. When we're back, he spends a lot of time in the gym. He'll be primed for a good shooting game, hopefully against San Diego State up in Louisville.
Chase Goodrip with the Tuscaloosa News. I want to ask you about the three-point shooting. You were only able to get off 7 attempts in the first half. Twice that in the second half. What was Maryland's defense doing in the first half to prevent the looks, and was there a change at halftime to open it up out there?
Our defense is similar to ours, to be honest with you. Like, they try to guard pick and roll with 2 guys. They drop the big. They don't really help off. So they just weren't helping off our shooters, and we didn't do a good enough job, attacking their bigs and the pick and roll. And I thought they had backup centers in without Reese in, so we didn't do a great job. The first play out of the second half, we kind of tried to screen the big. Quinterly got downhill, got the layup. They made some other adjustments. To be honest with you, I thought we got, and I'd have to go back and look at this, I thought we got a lot of our threes in the second half off some offensive rebounds, some transition opportunities, kind of broken plays, because they had a good plan and they did a good job of it, and we got to do a better job with our offensive plan against a team that's going to do that. But, yeah, I told our guys, 1 of 7, that's not how we play. We'd like to get 30-plus up a game. Well, we only got 21 up tonight, but we were able to get on the offensive boards. And, at the rim, we got 23 shots at the rim, so did they, and we were 12 of 23, or they were 12 of 23, we were 13 of 23. Kind of the difference was, they ended up taking 21 non at the rim twos, and we only took 8. So, we were able to take a lot more threes. We made 6. I think they only made 1. So, it's still a difference. We got little different styles. We were able to get off a few more. Quinterly was able to get a few off the dribble in the second half, which, he's going 4-6. He's playing at a pretty high level right now.
Yeah, Coach Charlie Potter with Bama Online. When you hear JQ say he's going to tell the guys we're close, but we still have a ways to go, just what does that say about the leadership of the guys coming back that want to advance further than Sweet 16?
Yeah, we've been there. Q's been there. We shot 12 of 25 at the free throw line. We got to get back and work on some little small details like some free throws. Q's been there, been close, went to overtime. We've got more in us, I think. So San Diego State's a great team. We're going to have to prepare really well to play for them. We're going to have to get some better production out of some of our other guys. And I think the leadership that Quinterly, Gurley, even some of our freshmen been giving us is great. But Quinterly's the one that's been there, was that close and missed, So we're going to get our guys focused and prepped, and we're going to do a good job in these next 5 days leading into this game.
Right here.
Yeah, Nate, Tony Sakalas, Tide Illustrated. You didn't dip too much into your bench this game. It's normally a strength of yours. Just what went to the decision to kind of lean more on the starters today?
They were playing well. I think getting into your bench is a lot more important the first game when you play 2 games in 3 days. I kept asking them if they needed one. Quinterly needed one, come out. Charles needed one. We got Pringle in. If they needed a break, we'd get them one. If I could tell they were a little tired, we'd get them one. We tried to get some. You've also got longer timeouts in the NCAA tournament. These timeouts seem like they go forever. So, you get a little more rest time in your standard media timeouts. And we had some timeouts close, rest a guy. I think there was one at maybe the 8:44 mark. Rest them for those, get the next media timeout. They didn't sit that much game time, but we're able to sit a lot of real time. So, I trust our bench. Just our starters were playing pretty well, and we kind of roll with them. First game, I think Ryland led us in minutes with just over 21. Today, all the starters were, at least 27 minutes. So we can go either way with it. Namari played double-digit minutes, and he was the only one off the bench. It's not like we don't trust the guys, but I thought the starters were playing well, and we kind of rode with them a little bit more tonight.
Nick Kelly, Tuscaloosa News. You mentioned JQ and you being here 2 years ago, and now to now. How's your relationship with him evolved over that time?
Look, I love JQ. He's got a big heart. He's trying to lead these guys. He's grown up a lot since he got here. It was ironic when we played at A&M. Jay Wright had our game, so me and Jay were talking. Javon came over, gave Jay a hug, and Jay said, "Man, he's grown up a lot as a leader since I had him." I said, "Shoot, he's grown up a lot since we first had him." He's made big strides. He's understands what's important. He speaks up when he needs to speak up. I think he's taken ownership of this team, like it's his team. It's a lot of guys' team. We got leadership from a lot of guys, but he's definitely one of them. He finds a way to come around and play really well at the end of the year every year. He was SEC tournament MVP 2 years ago. I thought he was playing his best basketball last year, towards ACL. I'd like to think that game would have gone a different way if we'd have had him for the full 40 minutes, in the tournament. But he's playing his best basketball by far right now, and I think he doesn't want to let his teammates down. He wants to take this team as far as we can go.
Mike Rodak with AL.com. I know Brandon always says he'll go, he'll be 100% healthy, but how far did you think he actually was going into it? Do you think he'd be able to play 34 minutes?
You know what? I didn't know how many minutes he'd be able to play. It seemed like the longer he went, the more loose it got, the better he was. I saw him kind of wince early. He didn't have the same pop I mean, I'm looking at his stats. He ended up 3 of 11 from 2, and a lot of those are at the rim. I thought his finishing had been really good, the whole conference, playing everything. He definitely wasn't 100%. He's going to tell you he's 100%. He's a tough kid that's going to play through some stuff and not let people on as how much he's hurt. But him and Clark spent a lot of time together over the last 48 hours, and, give him a lot of credit. He was going to go. I mean, there's no question ever about whether he was going to go or not. He just, we'll rest him how we need to rest him until they feel like he's ready to practice. And if we don't have him for a few practices, that's fine. We got to get his groin as close to 100% as we can by Friday.
Katie Wyndham from Bama Central. Nate, you talked about in your opening offensive rebounding. Just how much have you seen him improve in that area the last couple of games, and maybe his aggressiveness in that area specifically? Yeah, it's been huge. I mean, you look at our second chance points, and it's 16-4. That's a big difference in the game. So I think he's been going. Some of these teams will switch us because we don't post a ton. He's been punishing the switch on the glass. With our switch attacks, a lot of times guards going at the big on the perimeter. Well, part of that is we tell our guards you can't get shot blocked, or we're coming downhill and bigs rotating over. Like, don't get your shot blocked, at least get it up on the rim, because now our bigs got a guard on them trying to block them out. Like, we need to punish the switch or punish the smash down. Charles has been doing a great job of that. I mean, look, he had five offensive rebounds. He had a third of the team's offensive rebounds. So he's playing great for us. He's a great kid. I mean, you guys have gotten to know him pretty well. I mean, he's very soft-spoken, but the whole angry Chuck deal's very true. He's got a side of him that comes out when we need it to come out. Part of this offensive rebound is him playing aggressive and hard and punishing the switches. I mean, he gets him on the guards. He gets him on the bigs, too. He would have had another one if he didn't have the over-the-back call, but would work on trying to get him not to go over the back and still rebound the ball pretty well.
Very back.
Sheila Smoot, Summit Media, Birmingham. With everything going around you, and now you're going on the road, you're getting the Sweet 16, what are you saying to this team to stay focused only on basketball and going to the next level? What are you telling them directly? I mean, we talk about we've got big picture items, and we got to be concerned with that. And then we have the details that matter when you get to practice in the games. When I say matter, they matter to the game. Like, you got to focus on what matters in practice. You got to focus on what matters in the game. And you are where your feet are. When we're in practice, we're focusing on that. When we're in video, we're focused on the preparation for whether it's practice or game. When we're in the game, and we kind of had that talk going into the SEC tournament. I thought our guys did a great job focusing on the task at hand for 3 straight games in the SEC tournament. I think they've done a really good job for 2 straight games here. The first 2 rounds of focusing on what they need to focus on when they're in practice, video, games, whatever it is. And then, the appropriate big picture stuff will take, our guys know what they're dealing with on that other stuff.
And that was Nate Oates, Brandon Miller, and Javon Quinterly after the big 73-51 win for the University of Alabama on Saturday night in Birmingham in the round of 32. They're on to the Sweet 16. 3 SEC teams tied for the most in the country, with also the Big East, UConn getting through for the Big East. The Creighton Blue Jays, I had both those teams in the Sweet 16, no question about that. Those 2 making it through for the Big East Conference. And it's been a very interesting NCAA tournament thus far because, again, 2 number 1 seeds already gone in Kansas. They go down to Arkansas. Arkansas, one of the 3 SEC teams, also with Tennessee and Alabama, to go ahead and advance. And then, of course, Marquette, one of those Big East teams that did not, though, they go down. But again, it's been a very interesting tournament thus far, as we said, with UConn getting through from the Big East. Creighton, and again, Creighton I thought was one of the underrated, and Xavier, the Xavier Musketeers, and Sean Miller. But we're going to go on a break. When we come back, we're going to welcome Chris Lee into the conversation. We're going to talk about those 3 SEC teams getting through to the Sweet 16, and can they make a run? Tennessee with FAU coming up, Alabama with San Diego State, as those two look to have matchups where they could potentially march on, but you can't ever assume anything in March. And then Arkansas, kind of the Cinderella, but they were a highly ranked team in the preseason, and they're going to take on one of those Big East teams, UConn. We'll talk about those next with Chris Lee of Southeastern14.com coming up next.
The Blitz has been called.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seat, managing partner of University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Crimson Tide football. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com for all our great offers. And get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today. Because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide!
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Rambo Marine in Hazel Green is your one-stop shop for all things boating. Whether you are ready to surf with the newest Malibu wake boat or cruise in a Cobalt or Barletta pontoon, we have a boat ready for you and your family. Rambo Marine provides exceptional service second to none, so that you are ready to hit the water in no time. Stop by Rambo Marine today. We know boats.
Welcome back to talk the recruiting blitz on Blitz Sports Radio. I'm D Squared. We have been talking ball, though. We've been talking about the NCAA tournament and the University of Alabama advancing to the Sweet 16 as the top overall seed. They have only been to one Elite Eight in their history. That was under Mark Gottfried in 2004, where they were, an 8 seed. They beat number 9 seed Southern Illinois in basically an Antoine Petway runner with just a few seconds left on the clock, won the game for the University of Alabama. They survived a shot at the buzzer that was no good. And then we're down 12 in the second half against the top seed Stanford and Mike Montgomery's squad, and came back with a barrage of threes. Antoine Petway, Kennedy Winston. You had the great Chuck Davis on that team, Ernest Shelton. You had some talent. Alabama rallies from a big deficit to win that game and go to the Sweet 16. Then they defeated Jim Boeheim in Syracuse in the Sweet 16 round to get to the Elite Eight before running into Jim Calhoun and the UConn Huskies. UConn, of course, won the national championship that year in 2004. Jim Calhoun, a Hall of Fame coach, won 3 national championships. Kevin Ollie won the 4th. There's been 4 national titles in that time frame, and so it's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward with this Alabama team, and if they can cement themselves as the best team in school history, and that will be decided with what happens this coming weekend, and if Alabama can advance to the Elite Eight and then to the Sweet 16. So we will see. We are efforting to reach Chris Lee of Southeastern14.com and see if we can talk some Southeastern Conference basketball with him, because there are 3 alive. And as we said, the Arkansas Razorbacks, probably the most unlikely. And yet, if you had talked about it in the preseason with all their expectations and their top 10 ranking, people would have expected them to be here. So basketball can kind of be interesting the way that it plays itself out. Arkansas, it's been a roller coaster, but they're playing their best basketball at the best time. Alabama was actually picked 4th or 5th overall in the SEC at the start of the season. They end up winning the regular season and the tournament. They're the number 1 overall seed. So honestly, Alabama's probably overachieved. Arkansas just now starting to hit the stride everybody thought they would. No doubt about that. And so, but we'll see. But certainly the SEC has had, I think, a pretty strong showing thus far in the NCAA tournament, and we're going to talk about that with our next guest. And, of course, you can connect with him at bandysports.com, longtime editor and publisher of that site on the Rivals Network, and Southeastern 14 with our good friend Blake Lovell, and that is Chris Lee. Chris, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, good morning. A lot of good basketball to be watched this last weekend.
Yeah, what overall, what is your thoughts on the SEC? It was nearly historic because Missouri dropped a game to 15 seed Princeton where you thought they had a good shot to win. Auburn put a good half together against one of the best teams in the country in Houston, and then Kentucky falls to Kansas State, even though I had that happening. But the SEC nearly looked like the best league in the country. Still may play itself out to be, but I still thought overall a strong showing for the Southeastern Conference.
It was interesting. I think all season we felt like a lot of these teams had sort of underachieved, but the computers liked them continually. And you saw some teams like Kentucky and Auburn that won a game where they were teams that were, I guess, underwhelming compared to what we expected in the regular season. You saw Tennessee, which felt like a team that was rated higher by the computers than it actually was, but maybe not. Arkansas, another team that fit that category, went 8-10 in the league, but knocked out a number 1 seed in Kansas. Alabama just doing what Alabama's done all year, and then you had, as you said, Missouri. That was a team that really surprised me because Missouri had been so consistent and taking care of business all year. But it appeared early that Princeton had Missouri flustered, and that's kind of the way it held. And that's where we are. I think it's been a good tournament for the league, and you could see a team or two in the Final Four.
Well, and the thing too is, a lot of times, and this is what Tom Izzo has mastered, and that's why I had him beating, and upsetting Marquette. He's been a master at these one-day turnarounds where you have to prepare for a team, and that's probably what hurt Missouri. They didn't get a chance to study Princeton probably as much as they wanted to, and that is a very difficult matchup at some point in time. Don't get me wrong, I'm like you. I was surprised that it was 78-63 and Missouri struggled as much as they did, but sometimes styles make fights, and that was a tough turnaround for Dennis Gates in Missouri.
Yeah, and style-wise, it just looked like a game that frustrated them. Missouri just kind of passes the ball around the perimeter with the 1980 style offense, and Missouri likes to go faster and get out in transition. And when the other team doesn't give you opportunities for easy buckets and kind of slows the game down, that didn't really play to Missouri's favor, and it just looked like that was a team that never really adapted.
It totally did. It was a loss for Dennis Gates, but a good first year. And now we look to ahead to these matchups. Sometimes brackets can open up. FDU made some history. They nearly made more history by beating Florida Atlantic. It was a tough game. FDU drops that game, but Tennessee, with what looks like on paper, even though this is a Florida Atlantic team, I guess they're 33-3. They're very, very good. But how do you see that matchup with Tennessee now that they've adjusted without Zakai Ziegler against Dusty May and Florida Atlantic?
Well, I think it's always a little frightening to play a team that's lost 3 times all year, but it's also a little frightening to play Tennessee the way that team can defend. I thought Tennessee just played so well against Duke. And all Tennessee really needs to do is have a little bit of offense, hit a few shots. And the Vols shot the ball pretty well from 3, and Vescovi handled the offense pretty well. And Kamwa gave them a threat from all over the floor. And when you can defend like Tennessee does, then Tennessee can win some games, which it did. Florida Atlantic is a team that, statistically has been one of the better teams in the country all year. It shoots the ball really, really well from 2 and 3, which is always sort of a formula for advancing. It is number 41 in the country in 3-point percentage. Excuse me, I've got a little cold here.
No problem.
41 in 2-point percentage, and not great in free throw shooting, but 72% is not bad either. It's a team that takes care of the ball. It doesn't beat itself, and that's going to be very interesting to watch because both teams are solid on both ends of the floor. Florida Atlantic got good guard play against Fairleigh Dickinson, which is always the key in this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a fun one to watch. I think most of the computers have it as one of the more lopsided matchups. And I say lopsided, that's relative. I think Tennessee's a 6 or 7 point favorite by most of the computers. But I can see this being a good one going down to the wire. And I'm looking forward to watching it for sure.
And then Alabama taking on San Diego State. Many people believe San Diego State, the sneaky athletic, they only have one double-digit scorer, but probably along the same lines that you could categorize them probably as good a defensive team nearly as Houston and Tennessee. That's given Alabama some problems. But Alabama even better in the KenPom defensive efficiency ratings than San Diego State. To me, if Alabama can get to 70 points, they can win this game. But Brian Dutcher, what he's done, building on what Steve Fitcher built there, San Diego State's kind of flown under the radar, but a really good program. Your thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, I'm not sure San Diego State shoots well enough to beat Alabama, but it's got some things. It's got the defense that you mentioned. It will play a slow tempo, which Alabama likes to play fast. That's another thing to watch. San Diego State just really has not won a lot of games in the tournament, so I'm mildly surprised it got this far. I just think that it's going to have to hit some shots in this game, and I trust Alabama to do that a lot more than I do San Diego State. I think it could be interesting for a half, but I'd be a little surprised if Alabama doesn't advance.
Yeah, and then on the other side, we know Creighton, I picked them to upset Baylor. They did that. And see, what I also watched this, and we're going to kind of piggyback off that when we talk about Arkansas, but Creighton was the team that started out in the top 10 and then hit some bumps in the conference play in the Big East. But that's an interesting matchup, Creighton and Princeton. I don't put it past Princeton to keep it going, too. That's kind of an interesting matchup there, Creighton and the Princeton Tigers.
Yeah, I had Creighton getting to this point, too. In fact, I had it getting to the Elite Eight.
Me too.
Creighton's a team that didn't have Ryan Kalkbrenner part of the year. And I saw Creighton play Arkansas back when Arkansas was fully healthy back over Thanksgiving, and Creighton won that game, if I recall correctly. So this is a team that's tall. It shoots it pretty well. Was, I think, a top 10 team in the country. I don't know. I think Princeton's run is probably come to an end here. I'd be surprised if Princeton was able to pull one more upset, but we'll see. Creighton certainly has been up and down at times. It lost, 11 games? And it'll have to bring its best to beat Princeton because Princeton is now shocked 2 teams in this tournament.
And now finally Arkansas, they've kind of erased now their struggles early because they're back in the Sweet 16 for the 3rd year in a row. But now a very interesting matchup with UConn and Dan Hurley. Saw them, take apart Alabama early in the season, and they got to number 1. Then they hit some tough, rough patch in Big East play, but they seem to be rounding into form.
Yeah, Connecticut, when you watch this team early in the year, just looked like it was a national title contender. And I had Connecticut in my Final Four before the tournament. That's looking good right now. I mean, just such a tough team. It's great on both ends of the floor. It shoots the ball pretty well. It's got Adam Sanogo, who's just a handful underneath. I mean, you saw how Tennessee played and how physical it was. Connecticut can do the same type of thing. I just don't know that I trust Arkansas to shoot the ball consistently enough. It'll be a fascinating matchup because both teams are loaded with athletes and both teams can really defend. But I think when it comes down to it, it's going to be who can hit more shots, and I'm just going to trust Connecticut to do more of that.
Well, great stuff from Chris Lee. Chris, we appreciate your time and giving us some thoughts on the SEC and the remaining 3 teams. Vanderbilt's still alive in the NIT as well, as they're looking to try to get to the Final Four of that event under Jerry Stackhouse as they continue to make a postseason run. But let everybody know how to follow all you guys' work, you and Blake, for Southeastern 14.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of stuff on our YouTube channel. We're recapping all the games that the SEC plays in the NCAA tournament, and we're previewing all the games that the SEC plays in the NCAA tournament. So we'll have more content up later today. We'll have some baseball content up. I tried to keep an eye on that this weekend, so we'll do some power rankings, maybe a series recap. We had some interesting results this weekend, so you can follow all that stuff on YouTube at Southeastern 14, and you can follow my Vandy stuff at vandysports.com.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
That's Chris Lee. We're going to go on a break really quick, come back and wrap up this edition of the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio. I'm D Squared.
The Blitz has been called.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. Still a place to call for your installation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on 2 services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
I'm a firefighter.
A teacher.
I'm a farmer. I'm a barber.
A waitress. A mom. We're all part of your community. Every day we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life. It's when you experience a moment of uncertainty, something or someone's behavior that doesn't seem quite right.
These are the moments to take a pause.
Because if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not. It's not about paranoia
or being afraid.
It's about standing up and protecting our communities.
One detail at a time.
Because a lot of little details can become a pattern.
We
trust our instincts.
Just like you should.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Welcome back as we are wrapping up the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio on this Monday. Big thanks to Chris Lee of Southeastern14.com giving us a quick synopsis. He likes the chances for Alabama to advance to the Elite Eight, Tennessee as well, even though I think Florida Atlantic is a sneaky athletic team. Dusty May, the protege of Bob Knight, is doing a great job there. With this Florida Atlantic squad. First ever Sweet 16 appearance for them. And then Arkansas, 3 straight Sweet 16s, but they're going up against Dan Hurley and the UConn Huskies. UConn, 4-time national championship program. And Dan Hurley looking to get them back among the elite in college basketball. And they were one of the teams that were number 1 earlier in the season. So, again, we will see, but certainly 3 SEC teams alive there. And then Vanderbilt still dancing in the NIT, reaching the 3rd round as they defeated Michigan at home in the Memorial Gym by 1 this weekend. But, again, don't forget later today, download our app, the Blitz Sports Radio app, Google Store, Apple Store. The Bandyman, Dale Lowry, Captain Cool, John Abraham. They will bring the afternoon blitz from 2 to 4. And we will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Everybody stay warm. There will be more recruiting blitz conversation. And don't forget, 977 ESPN, your home for Alabama basketball this Friday, 5:30 Central against San Diego State in the Sweet 16. It'll be 4:30. The start of the broadcast, and then 5:30 tip time, and that is going to be some great action that you'll be able to hear only on 97.7 The Zone, along with some Alabama baseball this weekend as well in the SEC. Everybody have a great rest of your Monday, everybody, and we will talk to you Tuesday at 9 a.m.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare,
full roof replacement, commercial